Hello, my friends. This is Qing Hong here. If you are like me, falling in love with painting roses, I have something special for you. I have created a video workshop to share with you my essential knowledge on how to paint roses in loose and captivating ways. In this video, I want to share with you a clip from the workshop when I talked about the fundamental forms and patterns of the rose. And understanding these patterns is what enabled me to paint freely and still get the essence of the rose. And I hope this will help you paint your own gorgeous roses as well. And I will leave a link to the entire workshop in the description box below. Enjoy and happy painting. All right. So we can put this aside for now, let it dry and continue to do its magic. And now we can take a moment to start coming back and focus a little more into the rose painting. And for me to paint a rose in a loose and vital and vibrant way is actually painting the patterns, the underlying patterns of the rose, how the rose really grow and how we really perceive the rose. So now imagine that you are decorating your house. Yeah, let's imagine that for a moment. So you are decorating your house. So where are you going to put your favorite pictures? Actually, it's on your walls, right? So if without a wall, there's nowhere you can put your pictures. And the walls, the structures, the systems are where you can add onto it. And that's like painting. So for me, I paint all these underlying systems first, and then I will go in to add a little bit detail to decorate it. But without it, it's actually already there. So let's take a moment to look at what's in the rose, what's the underlying systems for the rose. And I have here a little reference photo. So basically, this is a rose that's just having this system so obvious for us to see. Not every rose look like that, but there is a certain common system or characteristics. So the first common characteristic is that the rose actually have a pentagon. See that? It has a pentagon shape, the 5 edges. And then what's inside another layer, it basically twist or switch this pentagon, shrink it, twist a little angle, and have another pentagon. And then it just twist and switch a little bit and have a closer, smaller pentagon, and twist and scale down a little bit. And in the middle of it, it more become a triangle. Yeah, so you may not have noticed this before. So if your first time, you may be like, oh, wow, I never see that. I never saw that either before I started to paint roses. But then I was like really fascinated with rose, and I really want to understand why a rose looks like a rose in art. You know, there are some art that we see that, oh yeah, it's a rose, even though it doesn't have much information. And that's one thing I discovered, all this pentagon. So let me do a little sketch for you to see. And put this aside and grab a pencil. So for example, if we start with a big pentagon, like so. Okay? And then we just shrink it and twist it. Another one. Twist, shrink, and another one. And just do one more. Okay. And you can almost see a little rose kind of thing that's happening. All right, yeah, even more so, the more you do it. Okay. And certainly in the middle, it won't be like that perfect, more into a little triangle. And still there's a twist, a little triangle. Yeah, look at that. Doesn't it look like a rose? Yeah? So, okay, so that's the first system I engage with painting a rose. Is this pattern of pentagonal, the switch, twisting, and yeah, what do you call it? And scaling down, yes. So that gives you a pattern, this appearance of roses. And of course, not every rose is so perfectly pentagon-like, but you will see more or less of that. And when you paint, if you just paint this system, people are going to see, oh, that's a rose. Isn't that nice? Okay, so that's the first system, or the characteristic of the rose that I discovered. And the second one is this. So let's bring up this rose one more time. And notice it has such an amazing thing with the petals that I discovered. So basically, look, for every 2 petals, there's some overlapping, right? They connect. And then there's always a 3rd petal that hugs, like cover up this gap in between. So like 1, 2, and 3rd. Yeah? And then let's see, like here, 1, 2, and a hug, a 3rd one. And then 1, 2, a hug. So I think that's just an amazing thing with the rose. It really knows how to take care of itself by covering up all the gaps and try to hold on to each other. Like this one, maybe there's a bigger gap, right? Not really connecting, but then there's the 3rd petal, really covered. And that feels so, wow, secure and beautiful and yeah, healthy. So yes, that's the other thing I noticed, is that this hugging, 1, 2, and a hug, 1, 2, and a hug. And it feels like dancing, isn't it? There's a rhythm to it. So if we come back to this shape, you will also notice it already here. So 1, 2, a hug. Oh, 1, 2, a hug. Yeah, so maybe now you're, oh, this is easy for me. So I know how that feels. Take a moment and you can rewind this portion of the video and look at it again. And you will be able to see these patterns. Okay, so then there's a 3rd pattern that the rose has that just really helpful when we paint. So this system or this character is that for a rose, if you touch it, you will notice that the petals on the outer side are very soft. But when it goes into here in the center, if you touch it, it's actually very strong. Yeah, just find a true rose for yourself and touch it. And that's the character, very important. The center is strong and the outside is soft. So, and that really translates directly into the painting language. And in painting, we know how to convey softness and how to convey strength. So for softness, it's all this fusion of colors and a lack of boundaries, little edge, but more of the flow. That's how we create this openness, this softness. And then if we want to convey the strength, we bring in more of a definition, more of a strong contrast, and more of the edge to really define it. And this character comes really handy when we do our painting in a moment. Okay, so, and that's all the systems of the rose that these 3 patterns are going to give you or take you a long way. And how are we going to continue to translate all those painting language, I mean all these characters of the roles into painting language. And that's where the wet in wet technique that comes in. So before we go to the roles, let's refresh on the wet on wet technique for a moment.